just finished a 2-month-long road trip around the west coast of the United States. We had 2 separate vans, we covered a lot of ground, and I learned a lot along the way, so I'm here to share my knowledge with you in this video. Also, I have new merchandise, in case you haven't seen that already. And I need a desk for the next space, so let's change locations. Okay, that's better. It's a little hot, actually. Look at that. So I asked you in the comment section of my van tour video and on Instagram and on the YouTube community section, what questions do you have about van life and US West Coast road trip? And despite getting a lot of questions that had nothing to do with travel at all, I did get a lot of good questions, so let's get down to it. So one of the first things I'm going to talk about, of course, is how to get free overnight parking when you're driving an RV. To find these, you have to use an app called Campendium. And this is an app that I found out about from my good friend Ryan. So basically, it's a camping app. It helps you find camping locations wherever you are, and it helps you find just free camping places and VLMs and things like that, and it gives you a full rundown of the prices or what the most recent price paid is. It was so helpful for us, and it helped us plan out our trip a lot easier. Another place that you can park for free, which is not on the Campendium map because these things are everywhere, it is called Walmart, and of course we all know Walmart. Yeah, Yoshi and I stayed at Walmart's many times. It's perfect in a last minute situation if you're just trying to find somewhere to stay for the night and it's getting late. Right, on to the next part of the video, which is tips and tricks and things that helped us on the road. So the first thing is actually this video's sponsor, and that is an app called Travel Talk. This is an app that I actually, if I'm honest, I didn't hear about this app until after I got back from America, but it would have been so freaking helpful to us if we did use it. And it's basically a way for travelers to do things much cheaper than you would be able to do on your own. Basically, you can go on there, make a profile with, so that people know that you're a real person, you're not a creep. And then you can create a card, which is to either meet other travelers, split the cost of something, or sell your stuff. So say you bought a whole bunch of things to use in your van, or you bought like a tent and camping kit and things like that, you can sell that on the site at the end of your trip, and another traveler who is looking to buy one of them might find it on there and buy it off you. You can use it to split the cost of things, like if you're gonna drive from San Francisco to Los Angeles, it just helps you find someone else who also wants to do the exact same trip, and it ends up being 50% cheaper for you. And if you're a solo traveler, it's also a great way for you to meet other like-minded people, but without there being any romantic connotations. So anyway, go and check out the app. It's in the description down below. And thank you so much to Travel Talk for sponsoring this video. I'm happy to do so because I think this is an amazing idea. So the question that I got asked over and over and over again is, how much did it cost? Is it cost efficient? Is it cheaper to have a van than it is to just have a car and then go hotels? The main route that most people would do. I spent all morning doing a huge price calculation of the both of them, and I'm going to go through them right now on this very official calculations page that I scribbled on this morning. If you're going to be doing an RV rental, which is what Yoshi and I did, we had 2 separate vans. One of them was a Dodge ProMaster B21 or something like that. We got it from a place called Best Time RV. For some reason, we can't really find the receipt for that one, but I looked it up online and I found exactly the same RV that we had. The prices break down like this. So we had the van for 16 days. Normally, this van costs $116 per night for just the van. We also rented the van from San Francisco and we drove it down to Los Angeles. So that's a one-way fee of $250. There's extra sales tax on top of that because America, and also insurance, which is another big cost that a lot of people kind of forget about. All of this comes down to, in total, $2,543.93, which is roughly $158.99 per night. The next van that we had is a Juicy RV. So this one's much smaller. It's more catered towards younger people and people getting out and experiencing the world. We had this van for 28 days. So when we did it, because it was with a collaboration with Juicy, we had a discount on it, so we had some days for free and we had a discount on the rest of it. So normally it is $41.71 per day. Plus we had an insurance. So we got the highest insurance on this van, which it covers for if you hit someone, it also covers if someone hits you, and it covers if you hit a person. And it covers you for up to $1 million in damage, which is great, which cost us $24.95 a day. Plus there's a $284.15 in sales tax, which comes to a total of $2,000 to, well, I can't even, $2,273.11, which comes to $81.18 per night. So obviously that one is a lot cheaper, but I'll get onto the other comparisons that you need to make later. Basically, on top of that, you'll also have to pay for miles for both of these vans. With the Juicy van, you can get unlimited miles, but that will cost you $25 per day extra. Or you can just calculate the total number of miles at the end of the trip, which is 25 cents per mile driven. So if you're driving 1,000 miles, that will come down to $250. Or you can get a 500-mile package for roughly $120. Obviously, these prices vary depending on any company that you're going with, but these are the two vans that I have for comparison. So let's just say for convenience sake, we're just gonna buy a 500-mile package for both of these vans. So the Juicy van will come down to a total of $2,393, and the Dodge ProMaster, whatever it is, will come down to $2,663.93. Comparing that with if we were just gonna take renting a cheap car and then just stopping off at hotels along the way. So the cheapest car that I could find was like, I don't know, some small little tiny car. Just the car alone is $27.49 per night, plus for whatever reason, this one you had to pay an extra $15 per day to have an extra driver, which I just think is like crazy, because who's doing all of the driving in one road trip? Anyhow, so that comes down to a total of $1,176.63, which is roughly $42.05 per night. And then I started to look at hotels. Oh, this is my other super official welcome. I looked at hotels around the area. So hotels in LA, they're a little more on the expensive side. The cheapest ones I could find were about $65, $70. Around the national parks will range about $60 a night, but they're usually a fair bit away from the park, so it's about an hour drive away from the park. If you're gonna stay near Yosemite, for example, that's definitely going to cost you at least $100 a night, if not more. And if you want to stay in the city or rural area, I typed in Fresno because that's where we stayed for one night randomly. That'll cost you between $60 to $90 a night. So it seems like the mid-range is somewhere about 70, let's just say $75 a night, plus $42.05 equals $117.05 per night. Comparing that with $81.18 per night, which is Juicy, or $158.99 per night, which is with the other van. So if you're renting one of the bigger vans, it's probably cheaper to actually go with a small car and then just stay at hotels along the way. But if you're gonna go with a smaller van, it's actually cheaper to go with Juicy. But of course, that is not everything. When you have an RV, you can just decide, actually, I really like this place, I want to stay for a couple more nights, which is what Yoshi and I did multiple times, like Death Valley, because we got there and we realized it was amazing. Whereas you can't really do that as easily if you've just got a car rental. It depends what season you're going in. If you're going in peak season, you might find it really difficult to find accommodation. So basically, it's just a lot more flexible if you've got a van than if you don't have a van. The other thing to keep in mind is that there's a bunch of hidden costs with having a van. And this is another big question that a lot of people ask me about, so let's get into that. There's the one-way fee, as I mentioned before, sales tax, because America, insurance, yes, miles plus extra miles that you pay for at the end of the trip. Excuse me. Gear rental, so things like kitchen utensils, bedding, propane gas, burners. Under 21 or 25 fee, I think it's usually if you're under the age of 21, you'll have to pay like an extra surcharge. Fuel, obviously another big one. So the bigger van, the first van that we had, I swear to God, we filled it up like every couple of days and it was like $80 every single time you'd fill up that gas. Whereas the Juicy van was actually very cheap to fill up. It was only like $50 to fill up that van and it lasted an entire week, which was great. Camp fee, so you don't have to pay a camp fee most of the time, but around the national parks and things like that, those fees will range anywhere from $6 to $25 within the national parks. Just outside of national parks, if you're staying at an RV park, which is essential for the bigger vans, if you want to hook it up to electricity, wow, I can't breathe, then you'll need to pay anywhere between $50 to $70. Usually it was somewhere around $50-ish. And then of course there are dump fees if you're not staying in an RV park, but you have to dump the grey water tank or the other tank, I don't know what that's called, then you'll need to pay a dump fee that's usually like $8 or something like that. Oh, and I almost forgot, there's a festival surcharge. A lot of people like to take RVs to Burning Man, but that is a very dirty festival, so there's a $1,500 Burning Man surcharge. It's actually called a Burning Man surcharge, and I think that's hilarious. But yeah, it's very, very, very expensive if you wanted to do that. Another thing that was insanely helpful to both of us was my Pocket Wi-Fi. It's that time again. So this is the same Pocket Wi-Fi I've been using for the past year and a half, and it's just been a complete lifesaver. It's a company called iVideo. They've got really affordable rates all around Asia and America and I don't know, so many places around the world. Really fast, great coverage, and very affordable rates, so go and check out that. The link is in the description. On to some more questions. What are the pros and cons of each of the vans? So that is a very good question, and it brings me on to my next point, which is which van is right for you? The hardest thing for us was not being able to charge our stuff most of the time. In the first van, it was fine because you could charge things with the power outlets that they had, and you could do that while the van was running or while it was plugged into an RV site. But the second van was a lot harder because you could only charge things while the engine was running. So while you're doing really long stretches, that's when we try to charge our laptops and our drones, but it was quite difficult to do because the engine had to be running for a certain amount of time for it to gain enough energy to charge our stuff. So it wasn't as powerful as we wanted it to be. And we didn't get one of the huge vans because I personally wouldn't feel comfortable driving that thing because it's so freaking big. With the van having a bunch of different cabinets and things along the inside of the van, if you go over any bump, everything shakes and makes a noise and it freaks you out. There was one time actually, this was my bad, definitely. We had a watermelon and I didn't know what to do with it. And it was like last minute, so I was like, I just put the watermelon in the microwave just as like storage, just to get it out of the way. And then we forgot about it and then we started driving, turned a corner, watermelon hit the microwave door, opened up and smashed the plate on the floor. So don't store your watermelon in the microwave. Do you need to buy permits or something to be in certain national parks or hikes? I heard about lotteries. I'm not sure how this side of all things work. So basically they have these things called, it's like a lottery for camping spots. From 3 p.m. on the day of you want to park there, you can enter a lottery, and then yeah, they've just got camping spots for everyone to use. When things book up so far ahead in advance and so quickly as well, it means that there's still a chance that you could stay there. So make sure you plan really far ahead in advance. How much time would you suggest for a proper trip? Enough to spend at least a couple of days in each place that you want to go to, and then a few extra days on either side just to be sure that you've got a bit of flexibility. The thing that you really want when you've got an RV, which is flexibility. Did you ever want to go home so bad when you're on the road trip? Actually, yes. I was getting sick at the time. Like, you know, when you get really, really sick and you get aching, you just want to like lay in bed like, I felt like that, but we didn't have a room. Like we couldn't stay inside of our van. I just wanted like a space to lie down, but I didn't really have that. So that's when I got the feeling of like, I really want to go home now because I was just really, really tired. How much did food and utilities cost AUD per day throughout the trip? AUD, I'm not sure because it was in America. Honestly, we ate at grocery stores quite a lot and Walmart's quite a lot. I'd say maybe like $10 a day, less than. Maybe because I'm cheap. And utilities, I don't know what that means because it's a van, so everything's kind of included in that. Why did you have to change the van? Yeah, so a couple people asked me this one. I mean, first of all, we really wanted to have like a kind of like a sponsorship or a collaboration with a van company because we're going to be doing the trip already, so it would have been a way for us to save money actually, if I'm being completely honest with you, which is what we ended up getting with Juicy World, which was very, very, very helpful for us, and it ended up being so much cheaper than it would have been if we just paid for it full price. So that's why we got 2 different vans. Would you ever consider permanently living out of a van or a tiny house? I don't think I could do it permanently, definitely not. I can live in a tiny house though. I would love a tiny house, like a teeny tiny little house, how cute. How hard is it to manage sleeping in such a small space with Yoshi's farts? Honestly, it's pretty rough sometimes. And yeah, I think that's all that I've got to talk about. I hope that I feel like I've covered everything. Well, I've just been talking for like 40 minutes straight. I'm just gonna close out this video with a comment that I got on my most recent video. You used to look hot, now you look like shit. What a waste. And there we go. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you next time. Bye. I'm not gonna cover the lens because the camera's too far away, but